Picture walking onto a massive, bustling BPO operations floor right here in the Philippines. You've got hundreds of highly specialized workers, efficiently and accurately handling all these complex, repetitive tasks for major global companies. Well, deploying Microsoft-built security agents operates on that exact same principle. Let's dive right into how to discover and set up these agents so you can start automating your own security workflows.
Just like a BPO assigns a dedicated specialist to handle, say, customer service, data entry, or tech support, Security Copilot uses digital entities, what we call agents, to securely automate your daily security tasks. So instead of having your security analysts manually grind through the exact same threat hunting steps every single morning, you just deploy a specialized digital worker to do it for you, instantly and accurately.
Section 1. Browse the agent library. Because to use these automation tools, we actually have to know where to find them.
The agent library is essentially Microsoft's official, centralized catalog for discovering these tools, which includes both Microsoft-built and external partner-built agents. Getting there is super straightforward. You just navigate to securitycopilot.microsoft.com and then select Agents right there in the left navigation menu. From a cloud security engineering perspective, knowing exactly where to find and initiate these tools is completely foundational. I mean, you have to know where your digital workforce is stationed to actually start streamlining your operations, right? Depending on your assigned role, this is exactly where you'll go to either set up brand new agents or run ones that are already good to go.
Now, these tools seamlessly integrate into your daily operations through what Microsoft officially calls embedded experiences. Think back to our BPO floor for a second. You wouldn't put a financial compliance specialist right in the middle of the IT help desk, right? They sit in the specific departments where their tools actually make sense. Agents logically surface in the exact same way. So agents tailored to identity management will appear directly within the Microsoft Entra Admin Center. Meanwhile, your SOC-focused agents, those surface directly in Defender. And crucially, whichever workspace they are associated with entirely controls what agents are available to you and which specific plugins those agents are actually allowed to use.
Section 2. Set up an agent. Finding the right specialist is only half the battle. Now, we've got to give them their ID badge and configure them. Once you select an agent and click Set Up, you're faced with a really critical choice about how this digital worker is identified. You basically have two routes. You can create an agent identity, which establishes a dedicated non-human identity used exclusively by this specific agent. Or you can assign an existing user account. This means the agent literally uses human credentials to run. Now, that second option is really only appropriate when a user already has the required permissions and a dedicated identity isn't strictly necessary.
If you are preparing for the SC-500 exam, you'll definitely want to pay close attention right here. Microsoft explicitly recommends that first option, creating a dedicated agent identity. But why? Well, it improves auditability and severely limits the blast radius if the identity is ever compromised. Think about it. If a dedicated agent is somehow breached, the attacker only gains access to whatever that specific, narrowly scoped agent was allowed to do. It essentially protects the rest of your environment from a cascading failure.
Before you can actually hit Run, you have to configure a set of operating parameters. Think of this checklist like defining the exact shift schedule, software access, and authorization levels for your new BPO worker. We just covered identity and permissions, right? But you also need to configure the trigger. Basically, what specific event or schedule wakes this agent up? What plugins or data sources is it allowed to invoke? What underlying Microsoft products does it actually require to function? And finally, what role-based access is required for a user to even turn on or run this agent? Now, some agents only require a few of these, while others might involve configuring multiple plugins and really complex trigger schedules. So always double-check the agent's documentation.
Section 3. Understand agent workspace context. Let's take a look at the actual environment where these agents operate.
Grasping workspace context is exactly like deciding whether your new BPO hire works out on the high-stakes, live production floor or in a safe, isolated training room. Technically speaking, a Microsoft-built agent operates strictly within the context of the exact workspace you were signed into when you initially configured it. So, the environment you are actively signed into determines entirely where that agent will consume computing capacity, and it dictates exactly which plugins it is authorized to access. Let's look at an important SC-500 security practice using a real-world example with our favorite fictional company, Contoso. Contoso's SOC director is signed into the SOC workspace, right? They're setting up threat-hunting agents that consume dedicated SOC capacity and actively use powerful plugins like Defender XDR and Microsoft Sentinel.
Meanwhile, the security architect is setting up experimental agents over in a completely separate sandbox workspace. This distinction matters immensely because utilizing a sandbox prevents experimental misconfigurations or a sudden massive spike in capacity usage from taking down your live critical production teams.
So, with your Microsoft-built agents fully deployed and securely governed by their workspace contexts, we arrive at this final thought. Are you ready to explore partner agents through the security store? Because remember, the library contains both Microsoft and external partner-built agents. Just keep in mind as you look toward those external tools, partner agents might require your organization to purchase entirely separate subscriptions, and they often necessitate explicit global administrator approval before your setup can even complete. What will you deploy first?